I am the woman who stays the longest by the side of Mafia Don Jasper Shaw. I believe I hold a unique place in his heart. But when his beloved Rosie Hurley suffers violation and falls pregnant, everything changes. Accused of orchestrating Rosie's downfall, I become the venomous villain in their eyes. To shield Rosie from gossip, Jasper publicly claims her unborn child as his own. Meanwhile, I am branded a depraved woman, defiled and discarded. Desperate, I reveal my own pregnancy to Jasper, pleading for our child's future. He dismisses it as a ploy for attention. When I confront him, his words cut deep. This is the sin you must atone for. Rosie has always been raised like a princess, and she can't endure the whispers, not like you. For the first time, I realize I am nothing to Jasper but a tool for his desires. Rosie locks me in a cramped cellar, where I suffocate and die. My body lies undiscovered for a month. When Jasper receives the call to identify my corpse, he brushes it off, prioritizing Rosie's prenatal checkup. Amara's lies are piling up. So what if she's dead? Cremate her and then talk to me. My body enters the furnace and is reduced to a handful of ashes. Later, the mighty Jasper Shaw kneels and sobs uncontrollably. He begs for just one glimpse of me. A month after I'd died, Jasper Shaw received a call from the hospital, asking him to identify the corpse. My corpse was in the basement, and he was upstairs, accompanying Rosie Hurley for her prenatal checkup. Amara Wallace is full of lies. She even bribed the hospital. Tell me, how much did she pay you for you to put on this act? If she's dead, so be it. Call me again once she's been cremated. According to his wishes, my corpse was put into a furnace. Once I had become a pile of ashes, the staff contacted Jasper once more. He clicked his tongue impatiently. We'll see how far you can carry out this charade. When Jasper rushed over, he looked disheveled. The top buttons on his shirt weren't even fastened properly. Didn't you call and ask me to come and pick up the ashes? Where are they? Jasper's casual demeanor seemed at odds with the somber atmosphere. A staff member carried my ashes out, looking heavy-hearted. He expressed his condolences to Jasper. Jasper's eyes were filled with scorn as he looked at my tiny urn. You really went all out with this act. You even got a real urn. You're just bad luck. The staff member frowned. He hadn't expected a family member to speak so callously. However, he did not say anything out of respect for the dead. Once he had verified Jasper's identity, he told him to take my ashes away. I watched the entire thing. My soul hadn't departed, probably because I'd died such a tragic death. I was following Jasper. I desperately wanted to tell him about how I'd died, but after I tried for a while, I realized that Jasper could not hear me at all. He was muttering scornfully to himself. She lied to me earlier about being pregnant, and now she's made up some lie about her death. Amara will really stop at nothing to get my attention. But Jasper, I really was pregnant. When I had told him the good news excitedly, he had flung me aside with a dark expression on his face. You sent someone to violate Rosie and get her pregnant, and now you're lying to her face and saying that you're pregnant too. Aren't you making things awkward for her on purpose? Even if you aren't lying and you're really pregnant, I would never allow an illegitimate child like that to be my successor. No matter how much I tried to explain, Jasper did not believe me at all. He just felt that I was lying. The same thing was happening again. When my urn was handed over to Jasper, I had clearly seen the scorn and contempt on his face. Right after he received it, he smashed my urn viciously on the floor. There was a loud crash, which scared everyone there. My ashes scattered everywhere. Jasper still felt angry. He laughed disdainfully and stepped on my ashes, grinding them with the sole of his shoe. The staff members' jaws had dropped in shock. They hadn't even had time to stop him. Jasper kicked my ashes and sent them flying. Tell Amara that she came up with a very innovative trick this time round, but it's lame. I'm not going to waver at all, no matter whether she's dead or alive. I gave her a month's time to reflect on her mistakes so that she'll apologize to Rosie quickly. If it weren't for her scheming, Rosie wouldn't have gotten severe depression. Jasper gritted his teeth, looking as if I were his enemy. Jasper and I had originally had a very sweet relationship together, until Rosie came back to the country and got pregnant after getting assaulted. I had no idea about any of it, but I was slandered and falsely accused of being a vicious woman who had hurt Rosie on purpose. Jasper felt sorry for Rosie and the rumors that she would have to endure, so he made a public announcement to say that the child in her belly was his instead of Rosie. I ended up becoming the subject of gossip as the loose woman who had been assaulted by several men. If she keeps hiding and doesn't come out to apologize, even if she really is dead, I'll dig out her corpse and throw it into the sea to feed the fish. The cruelty of Jasper's words made everyone there shuddered. I knew that, as the youngest don of the mafia, Jasper was perfectly capable of doing such a thing. When he left, my soul followed him, although I didn't know why. I had no choice but to follow Jasper to Rosie's hospital room. Rosie lay in a VIP room. She looked very healthy. She had several highly skilled caretakers to tend to her, and unlike how Jasper had described her, she did not look frail at all. She did not look like she was suffering from a lack of sleep because of her depression, either. When Rosie looked up and saw that it was Jasper, tears slid down her cheeks at once. Don Shaw, am I the reason that Amara came up with a lie like that? Jasper's brow was furrowed tightly as he comforted her tenderly. Don't mind her. She's always been capricious. Amara is the reason that you've had to suffer so much. When I find her, I'll make her grovel to you and apologize. I could not believe how much Jasper hated me. However, no matter how much he hated me, he could no longer find me. I really was dead. In order to coax a smile out of Rosie, Jasper had promised to marry her once she recovered. He had also agreed to go with her to try on wedding dresses. The sweet smile on Rosie's face was a harsh sight to me. I thought of how Jasper hadn't become the Don yet when we'd first gotten together. He had just been an illegitimate son who was not in favor with the previous Don. My father was the underboss of the previous Don. After the previous Don had passed away unexpectedly, my father had supported Jasper wholeheartedly so that he could become the new Don. My father had done it for the sake of my happiness. Before my father passed away, Jasper had promised that he would propose to me and make me the most beautiful bride in the world. But now, Rosie was the one putting on a wedding dress for him. I watched the two of them embrace. I was rooted to the spot. How could it be Rosie? She was the person who had killed me. When I saw them being affectionate with each other, my heart jolted painfully, and my soul felt as if it were being torn apart. Rosie raised her head to kiss Jasper, but he dodged instinctively. There was a flash of anger in Rosie's eyes, but she hid it very quickly. Don Shaw, I want our wedding to receive everyone's blessings. If Amara can come, I'll forgive her for the mistakes that she's made in the past. Jasper's eyes filled with scorn at once at the mention of me, and there was contempt in his voice as he said, of course we have to invite her. I'm going to make her apologize to you in public. I knew that Jasper was punishing me. He had believed Rosie and thought that I had arranged for someone to assault her because I was jealous. The day that Rosie had been sent to the hospital because she'd been torn apart down there, Jasper had pinned me down on my knees in front of the emergency room and made me kneel for the entire night. He only stopped when I fell unconscious because I'd lost all my strength. And no matter how much I tried to explain, he refused to believe that the figure who had flashed past in the surveillance footage wasn't me. Ever since then, I had become a vicious woman in Jasper's eyes. Jasper no longer believed in anything I said, and I went from being his lover to his enemy overnight. After that, he did not hesitate to admit in public that the child in Rosie's belly was his. He told everyone that the person who had been violated that night was actually me. He also did not believe that I really was pregnant with his child. This was all because Rosie was his first love and the stepsister that he doted on. Jasper humiliated me and tortured me, but he refused to let me leave him. He wanted me to stay with him for the rest of my life to atone for my crimes against Rosie. However, the woman that Jasper spoiled so much had lied to him and even murdered me. Jasper only thought of me once he had said goodbye to Rosie. He decided to be magnanimous and unblock my number. When he called, it went unanswered for a long time. Jasper slapped the steering wheel to vent his anger. How dare she refuse to answer my calls? I'm going to show her the price she'll pay for ignoring me. Amara, get out here. Have you been spreading rumors about Rosie being the third party in our relationship? Her depression is getting worse. You're pushing her to the verge of committing suicide. Jasper rushed angrily into the villa and began going through every room in search of me. However, there was no sign of me in the villa at all. If he'd been a little more observant, he would have realized that the rooms had not been occupied for a long time. What a witch. Jasper used every resource he had to look for me. Soon, his lackeys found the last message that I'd left in the world. I'd made my last call a month ago to Silas Turner, a policeman. I'd met Silas unexpectedly. Despite our identities as a member of the mafia and a policeman, respectively, we became very good friends. Jasper had always disliked Silas, and he would become very jealous whenever I met up with Silas. Jasper sped all the way to Silas' home and gave the order for Silas' front door to be smashed down. The noise soon attracted the attention of the police. When they arrived, they looked at each other. They all recognized Jasper. The higher officials of the mafia had infiltrated the police station long ago. However, Silas was the sergeant's son, while Jasper was the don of the mafia. The policemen did not dare to offend either of them. In the end, Silas told them to leave. Once they had gone, Jasper grabbed Silas' collar impatiently. Where have you hidden Amara? Jasper had no doubt that Silas was involved in my disappearance. Silas was the only one who had power and influence in the state and was bold enough to go against Jasper. Silas had chiseled features, and he gave off a righteous air. He looked calm, but he was secretly suppressing a great sadness. Let go. Amara's dead. Didn't you already know that? Jasper said scornfully, you're helping Amara lie to me. Do you think this is fun? Tell her to come out quickly. Don't make me resort to violence. Silas looked at Jasper, who was still being stubborn. You never even trusted her. I really feel sad for her. Jasper laughed scornfully. You treat her so well. It's a pity that I had my fill of her long ago. When I'm sick of her, I can consider delivering her to you so that you can have fun with her. When Silas heard how disrespectful Jasper was being to me, he got into a tussle with him. I wanted to stop Jasper, but there was nothing I could do except watch in agitation from beside them. They were equally matched in strength, but Jasper didn't play fair. He pinned Silas to the floor and punched him in the face. Where have you hidden Amara? Silas spat out a mouthful of blood-flecked spit. He clenched his teeth and grabbed Jasper's collar as he yelled angrily, she's been dead for a long time. Didn't the hospital notify you to identify the corpse and collect it? You spilled her ashes yourself. Jasper did not believe him at all. He was just about to raise his fist when a lackey rushed up and interrupted him.